end of the world, where the dirt brush man, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, was going to unseal truth to his people. And one of those truths that he was going to unseal is the 2520. The watchmen here at the end of the world were also raised up at the time period that the 2520 is being fulfilled. And we haven't got time to go through William Miller's dream, but you'll see the 7 times in William Miller's dream that take place before the dirt brush man arrives. Okay? Watchmen are the Millerites and the 144,000. Yeah. Duly noted. Let's go to the Watchman of Zion on page 67, Ezekiel 33. We don't have to read it. You can see it on in your notes where it's talking about the watchman. The watchman sounds the trumpet. The message that empowered Miller's message was a message that came from the 6th trumpet. It was the message identifying the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, the second woe. That's what empowered the Millerite movement. If you read the Millerite understanding, they understood that this was marking the close of probation. This was connected with their close of probation message, is the 6th trumpet, the collapse of the Ottoman Empire on August 11th, 1840. And that's what empowered their movement, brought the angel down from heaven. That's the watchman of the Millerite history. That was their trumpet. Our trumpet is the 7th trumpet. It's the 3rd woe. It's what brings the angel down out of heaven. When the angel came down out of heaven on August 11th, 1840, what Sister White highlights about that is that it confirmed the rules of prophetic interpretation adopted by Miller and his associates. If you care to analyze the increase of knowledge that's taken place since 1989, it's a public record. It's a thorough public record. You will find that the rules that have been adopted by the students of prophecy since the collapse of the Soviet Union in fulfillment of Daniel 11, verse 40, in 1989, the rules that they've come to understand and apply in order to identify what the last 6 verses of Daniel 11 are the rules that also allow them to identify that 9/11 is the beginning of the latter rain, the beginning of the judgment of the living. Those rules were confirmed. On August 11th, 1840, those rules were confirmed for the world to see and decide whether they would be impacted by the fact that these rules work or rejected anyway. For us, it's reversed. On September 11th, 2001, those rules were confirmed for Adventism to decide whether they say yes. The rules these students of prophecy are employing are valid, or these rules don't matter. I'm going to keep walking in darkness. But it's the rules that were recognized before the collapse of those 2 twin towers that are the identical rules that allow you to demonstrate. And for instance, you talk about certain figures in Adventism that had warred against this message. One of them, Ray DiCarlo, he's warred against it across the board. He fights on the shut door. He doesn't believe that the glorious land is the United States. He thinks it's a Seventh-day Adventist church. He believes a lot of things that way, but he's fought against it for years. And because of that argument, those of us that were grappling with it, we came across an argument just for that argument. And that argument was, hey, when pagan Rome took control of the world, it had to first conquer 3 geographical areas. And when it conquered the 3rd geographical area, then it ruled the world supremely for 360 years in fulfillment of Daniel 11, verse 24. And papal Rome, before it ruled the world supremely for 1,260 years, it had to overcome 3 geographical areas. And when it conquered the 3rd, it ruled supremely for 1,260 years. Therefore, when modern Rome takes control of the world, I'm sorry, Brother Ray, the king of the south, wherever it is, has to be a geographical area. The glorious land has to be a geographical area. And Egypt has to be a geographical area. So in the midst of the shut door controversy, students of prophecy that are grappling with defending this, what they discover is a triple application of prophecy. If you take the characteristics of pagan Rome and combine it with papal Rome, you're establishing the characteristics of modern Rome. And sure enough, when it comes to 9/11, you need to be able to prove before the brethren that if the first woe was Islam and the second woe is Islam, then the third woe is Islam. Those rules were established before 9/11. They were confirmed at 9/11, just as Miller's rules were confirmed on August 11th, 1840. And it's all a matter of public record. But under dumb dogs, we understand that in this history, there will be two types of watchmen. Some types of watchmen that have a peace and safety message, and then watchmen that are telling God's people probation's about to close, and that the structure of the Seventh-day Adventist Church is about to be removed. Overturned, overturned, overturned. But the promise is in Isaiah 62:6 that the Lord will set watchmen on the walls, and they will not keep silent. Right? Now, I happen to believe what I teach. I believe probation is about to close. And I've developed for myself, these are just for myself, they may or may not be valid, or even if they're valid, they may not be important. But as I've participated in the development of this message, I have found that it's the line of the tribe of Judah that has led into understanding of all these things. I've watched. My wife could give testimony how many times I've said, I can't imagine any other light that the Lord's going to bring. This has got to be the complete package, and then before long, here's something else that people are understanding, and here's a new component to this message. So I learned, and she can give testimony of these conversations I learned a long time ago. Don't ever think you're done with the line of the tribe of Judah producing more light that's going to show you that you really don't know anything, okay? Because he does it all the way along, all right? In that experience, I've developed certain understandings about how this increase of knowledge takes place, and one of them is that it's on God's timetable, and he's in control of it. He does it purposely. He does it to set up opponents, and then brings the next argument to set them back down. All right? He's done things like that. He does things to strengthen the confidence of those people that are studying these things. But one of the things that I've noticed about this is the Lord will reveal things in this message that is telling you, putting an emphasis to let you know that what that is teaching is about to take place. What I mean by that, I'm having trouble articulating it. These two charts, the line of the tribe of Judah has now placed them in a prophetic position. The arguments are there where it's unshakable. These represent Christ. They represent the covenant that he entered into with the Millerites, and they represent his promise to enter into the covenant with the 144,000. And if you refuse to come back on this platform, you're going to be lost. And he is producing this truth and putting it above any controversy, any argument. And in so doing, he is identifying for anyone that will hear that probation is about to close, the Sunday law is about to arrive. We're there. We're there. That's how I understand it. There isn't several years left, brothers and sisters. There just isn't time left. So when we get to the understanding of the shut door, where now from the scriptures and the spirit of prophecy, we can see that part of the battle that ensues is a leadership that's unwilling to return to these old paths. But a leadership that is now, in various ways, publicly fighting this. Public fights demand that there's a public response. Okay, and I know this causes people a headache. I've mentioned a few names here. But when it comes to the Biblical Research Department of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, one of the men there, named Gerard Fandel, was in Europe. And he told a group of people there after a meeting, and this amazes me from my understanding. He says, in the Biblical Research Department, I'm the expert on Daniel, and John Pauline is the expert on Revelation. I have two problems with that. No. Angel